Gabrielle, reviens. Alfie, no, don't go, please. No, Marcello, you don't understand. Tu comprends pas.
Come on, of course I have to make fun of Emily.
Bonjour tout le monde, I'm Cassie, your French tutor, so you can discover France the French way. And now is the perfect time to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up already if you're really into French culture. And that's what we're going to see today. To be fair, I'm not going to make that much fun of Emily. I'm sorry. This video is not scripted at all, so let's throw that away and let's just discuss, you know, like friends watching a show together or just debriefing afterwards. So as you probably saw in the title and the thumbnails, today we're going to talk about the season 4 of Emily in Paris. And I know it has been criticized a lot, especially by French people. I mean, this series clearly isn't for French people, and it is like an amazing romanticized version of Paris, of course. Like, we know better, and happens that, well, I'm from Paris, or around Paris, but I spent quite some time there and lived there at some point. So I know Paris a lot. And the beautiful images that we see in the show, they actually are from Paris because it was filmed on location. So it is Paris. It's just that they omitted to show you certain parts of Paris. For example, she was at the airport. I can imagine maybe she came by train back to Paris, and everybody who knows Gare du Nord knows that it's not something you want to show American people in a TV show. Clearly not, because yeah, that's not where you want to stay. I do understand that they chose to show only these parts of Paris because they are beautiful. I mean, Paris is a gem. It is incredible. There are parts, of course, they smell like pee and too noisy and, you know, things like that. But I guess in every city, and to be fair, like when we watch an American show, we won't think of all the not so beautiful parts of the cities that are presented to us. I'm thinking like, I used to be, let's not say I am, but I am a big fan of Gossip Girl. Not the remake, of course, like, come on. And it is like glamour, it is beautiful, you see all these crazy places and it's great. Sex and the City, same. Like, I wanted to move to New York City because of that show. And that's exactly what happens right now with Emily in Paris, but just, well, people want to move to Paris. The thing is, it should be a crazy idea that you have, it shouldn't be really something you act on, let's say. And unfortunately, I've seen that the interest in really moving to Paris rose after that show. But I guess, like, you know, it's when you're dreaming of something like maybe a big trip and you're researching on Google, doesn't mean you are going to do it. It's just like a dream. So yeah, I wouldn't criticize that part of the show that much, to be fair. Something I really appreciated so much in this season is that we hear a lot more French.
Do you want to know how I feel?
Yes, I really do.
J'ai l'impression de m'être fait avoir. Je me suis laissé rêver à un futur heureux avec toi, une étoile Michelin, un bébé. Mais en fait, j'ai passé tellement de temps à essayer de te convaincre que toi et moi, ça en valait la peine. Pendant que toi, t'as même pas essayé d'essayer. Qu'aujourd'hui, je suis vidé. Je crois plus en rien, je crois plus en personne. Et je dois quand même passer à la télé pour essayer de convaincre les Français d'en avoir quelque chose à foutre des coquilles Saint-Jacques.
So Emily in Paris has a large part of the cast that is French. Really French people. They speak English.
The handsome man was just flirting with you.
It's absurd. He was not flirting with me.
We've seen a few actors from Emily in Paris in other English-speaking shows. I was talking about Gossip Girl, like Roman. I'm not sure they actually named the pronunciation, so I don't know if his name is Roman or Roman. Anyway, in Gossip Girl, so the stepdad of Blair.
Oh, why don't I join you on the rink? It looks fun.
Wonderful.
Yes. Super.
Well, he's now, isn't he Antoine in Emily in Paris? I believe so. Yeah, so we've seen him. Who else? Well, Sylvie. Sylvie was in The Crown, right? And two brothers. Yes. So they all speak English very well, but they're French, and it is so good this season to hear them really speaking French, because you can tell that the way they play, like their skills as actors is so much better in their mother tongue. It is incredible. Gabriel, for example, he's less dull, I would say, this season.
La mélodie du bonheur sera en Autriche, là c'est la France.
Please ne tue pas ma fantasy.
Oui, absolument.
Okay.
Oui.
So that's great. Like you can really see their talent. And I mean, talking about the cast, Sylvie, Philippine Leroy-Beaulieu, s'il vous plaît. Like, I was not really aware of her skills, her career. Like I saw her in things, but I never really paid attention to her. But as Sylvie, wow! I mean, she's bold, she's confident. Like, I love the way she dressed. Way better than Emily, that's another point. But yeah, like, love her.
I can't believe we got away with this. I feel so cheap.
Do you want to go back and tell Margot the truth?
No, of course not. I'm just worried you're rubbing off on me. I don't know if I like it.
Talking about how they're dressed, like Emily in Paris dressed like that? Really? Like, no? I know Paris is one of the capitals of fashion in the world, but like Forrest, I would be a clown. Like, she's the equivalent of a clown. I'm sorry. I know Darren Star, one of the creators of the show, I mean, he created Sex and the City, and fashion is so important in the show, but Emily, come on. Like, in France, what you learn is that you shouldn't mix more than 3 colors, and white and black are part of these colors. Otherwise, it's just too much. Emily, she just never really followed that. And it's not really pretty in my eyes. But what do I know? So before I was talking about locations, though they omitted a few parts of Paris, really, there are some parts I think that would have been great in the show. For example, the metro, like le metro. Okay, it is so important in Paris, in Parisians' lives. Like, except if you really have so much money that you can have a private driver, I think everybody takes public transportation in Paris. And I really think that it would have been a fun episode to see Emily trying to navigate the Parisian metro. You know, discovering like musicians in the metro and the smells and all these people. Like, really, the crowd can be so overwhelming. And like on the escalators, you have to stay at the right if you're not moving. You can go on the left side if you're moving. These kind of rules, it would have been fun to see her discover that. But I do understand that la RATP, so the company in charge of, well, the French metro, didn't really want that kind of image. And they're really picky about their image. So I do understand why it wasn't possible, but it would have been fun, like really fun. And relatable for French people. But again, I understand it's not meant for French people, so it doesn't have to be relatable for us. Something though, they could have paid attention to, still about locations. So I moved away from Paris years ago, but still, like, I know the geography of the city. And I know that when, at some point in the episode, you're in Saint-Sulpice, you won't be in Sacré-Cœur 10 minutes later. And I know that, of course, with like the editing and the time of the story is not the same, blah, 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 blah. No. Like, for example, Emily, she lives in the 5e arrondissement, the 5th district. So I think behind La Sorbonne and things like that. Okay, beautiful place. So go run in Les Jardins du Luxembourg. It's way closer, it's more beautiful. Don't go to Le Sacré-Cœur. Doesn't make sense. And I mean, when she arrives, so after an hour run, come on. She's not sweating or anything, like, nah. It just doesn't make sense at all. The geography in the show doesn't make sense at all. But again, it is pretty. I understand. I want to go back to people for a second. One thing I didn't really like was how French people were portrayed in terms of relationships. Because in Emily in Paris, it almost sounds like, you know, every French person is highly sexual and they cheat and it doesn't matter. No. That's not true. Like, committed relationships are a thing, and I mean, open relationships also are a thing. It's fine. As long as everybody consents and is happy with that, why not? But it's not the norm. It's not like French people will cheat on their partners all the time. So I didn't really like that. So it's like making alcohol so casual. I know that alcohol is actually a big part of our culture, but to be fair, in the wrong way. I mean, I love wine, beers, having a drink with friends, all that. Yeah, but when you see that in France, on TV, you hear like TV hosts telling their guests that if they don't drink, they're just boring and you know, not fun to be with, or like grandparents, blah, blah, blah. Like, it is a problem. So I'm not sure it is okay to be that casual about it. Another thing we shouldn't be casual about. Brigitte Macron, qu'est-ce qu'elle fout là? The fuck is she doing there? I'm sorry, but and I don't want to hear she's not political. Like, we know, everybody knows, they're not even trying to hide it, that this woman is actively advising her husband, who is ruining the country. Like, in 30 years of life, I've never seen that many French people against the president. I mean, there are complaints about the president all the time, no matter what president it is. But Macron, like, everybody agrees that he's an asshole. Sorry, YouTube. Beep if you want. I don't care. So what the hell is she doing here? So I know it's a way for like the Macron couple or Brigitte Macron to look cool. Sorry, but we know what you said. I mean, she said like very conservative things on TV, in public. Like the way she, not pressured, because of course we're not in their lives, but the direction the policies about education took because of her, because she used to be a teacher, blah, blah, so she knows, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all that. Like, when we see how conservative the policies in terms of education became with her, like, don't try to look cool. Like, you have, just shut up. Sorry, but ferme la meuf. So that wasn't okay. That really wasn't okay. And I can understand that American people who made that show were not really aware of that. But don't be surprised French people reacted. That's all I'm saying. And another thing I really, really hate with Emily in Paris, like, I'm sorry, but it is a big commercial. That's it. Like, you have brands all the time, like, oh, McDonald's, it is cool, hein, petit 4 heures. I'm sorry, but like, how much money did you receive for that? I mean, I'm not against sponsoring at all. Like, having money from brands, like, it's fine. I mean, I'm on YouTube, so let's not be hypocritical here. But Emily in Paris is just that, all the time. So that pissed me off. But it's not just the show, because I do enjoy it. I mean, it is un petit plaisir. It is like a guilty pleasure. I do like it. I'm not even watching it ironically. I'm this kind of person. I love like silly light shows like that. It's fine. I'm not gonna pretend. I do like it. I do enjoy watching it. Like the drama with the boyfriend and the ex and the blah blah blah. I do enjoy it. I mean, I told you I'm a big fan of Sex and the City and Gossip Girl, so yeah, that's my jam. But the commercials and stuff, didn't like it. One thing I loved in this season was talking about sexual harassment, and again, Sylvie, Queen, because she talked about it, and I do understand why she actually took time before speaking about it, about what she lived, what she experienced. I understand, because it is not easy, especially a woman of her generation, of her status, etc. But it is more realistic that she won't come as a like warrior and say that she doesn't care and she will just like defeat the bad guy. No. It is more realistic that way, and I did really enjoy it and show that it wasn't okay. Loved it.
Nice to meet you, Gabriel. Nice to meet you. You with Bavazza?
So that's pretty much what I thought of this season. Again, that wasn't scripted. And I'm sorry, but if she ends up with Gabriel instead of Marcello, No, I quit. Well, I quit. That would be the last season, but still. And we all know that she will end up with Gabriel, but why am I saying it with the American accent? Gabriel, like his name is Gabriel. But no, Marcello is so much nicer and cuter and all that. Like, no, Marcello, come on. and less dull and boring and, you know, all that.
Well, I don't know what I would have done without you, Marcello.
You would have ridden down in shame with a ski patrol. Quicker, but it was more fun, I think.
I'm sorry, but I'm Team Marcello. And I kind of forgot Alfie after he arrived, so sorry. But we know that she will end up with Gabriel because it's Emily in Paris and they're in love and will they, won't they, blah, 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 whatever. But I'm still Team Marcello. He just deserves better, so I guess, yeah, it makes sense. They don't end up together. And I'm pretty sure they won't stay in Rome in the next season. They will probably come back to Paris. But I would have loved a spin-off with Sylvie in Rome. Like, yes, so many times, yes. Because when she said, oh, we're opening an agency here and somebody will have to stay and, oh, hello, I'm speaking Italian. Actually, Philippine Leroy-Beaulieu does speak Italian. I was like, yes, I want the spin-off with Sylvie. Not what they decided to do. But it's okay. It's okay. So, my opinion is just mine. I understand if you do not agree, though I would be super curious to know, so please tell me in the comments what you thought of Emily in Paris and everything I said. And if you really want to know how relationships work in France, I recommend that you watch this video next. Donc à la semaine prochaine. Salut!